Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race XL edition, the 11th round featuring the Kyoto Ring and the Raceabout. My name is Eoin Harmon, and I'm joined today by Zdeněk Cagaš, aka Kid. How are you today, Kid?
Hello and welcome everybody. And we are all looking forward to this exceptional race, not only because of the race itself, which presents us with a very fast track and this interesting car, but also with something extra we have been teasing before.
That's absolutely right, and I'm absolutely thrilled that we'll be presenting that for you all today on Twitch and YouTube. Should be very, very exciting, to say the least. And as mentioned before, we are playing around on the Kyoto Ring GP Long Reversed. This is one of the more long circuits on our calendar, and as you can see on the calendar, we've been running since the end of January, and here we are 11 rounds later with very much fantastic contest up and down the grid.
Indeed, and it is the penultimate race of this season, so we still have quite a championship battle going for into the last race. And today we will have let's wait for the results or for the preliminary standings.
There you are. It's Ricardo for Team Sidus leading the way ahead of his teammate Unite. Just about 23-point gap there, but certainly plenty more drivers are in contention, such as True Alpha. We're running down the rest of the grid. Drivers who've earned at least 1 point throughout our 10 previous rounds will be listed here. So if you see your name, give yourself a pat on the back. But let's not forget there are no team championships, so everybody is playing for their own pride and their own circumstances. So 78 names in total, and hope to see a few more today. Indeed. Yeah, there you go. You can see we have our featured vehicle for the day. It's the Raceabout 06, a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 mid-engine sports car with no roof. It's rear-wheel drive, capable of 245 brake horsepower, and weighs just about 800 kilos or 1,700 pounds.
Yeah, it is in my opinion, very fun car to drive, but it is hated by many who are now also on the track as well. On this track, although it is very fast in slick tire cars, we will have a pretty challenging race for the drivers today, because they have to deal with the road tires, the weight, and this car is not so easy on this track.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Kid. I've probably driven this car once or twice out of curiosity, and I ended up just getting the back end all ends up. But these drivers have been put in the lap times for the past 54 minutes, and our pole sitter, as things stand, is Botsy at 2-minute 41.92. Very, very narrow lead over Ricardo there on the front row. And then we have other top drivers, such as Lacunas and Upsas are all competing, so we're a bit of a technical glitch with our leaderboard. Forgive us for that. Yeah, there we go. That's better. There's our full list. Lacunas and Upsas are on the second row. Kig and Arska also looking strong. Any other names pop out for you, Kid?
Important thing is that the championship leader Ricardo is in second place, and Unite is also present on the server, but he still hasn't set a time. So we will see how he does in the last 5 minutes as we await his time, as his position on the grid could already be pretty much decisive for the championship.
Yeah, that's a very interesting case. Sidus Unite, nowhere to be found at the minute. 34 times have been set, so that should be plenty. But Sidus Gabor, who's not visible on the timesheet at the minute, he's probably just on track in the last few minutes, getting onto the last row. Whoops. Yeah, so we'll certainly see more improvements from him as time goes by. Yeah, and we're checking out Botsy. He's currently on pole, and that's another time just about to begin, I think.
Yeah, Botsy going on the overt now, where the drivers get a rare chance to relax as he now approaches the long spoon-like curve, slight braking into the long, never-ending right-hander, going a little bit uphill, and still turning right, having to correct some slides if he presses too much throttle under the bridge. And into this fast S, approaching next fast left-hander, which is very easy to get wrong on the inside and on the exit as well. Short straight, and he now finishes the second sector of the track as he enters this long left-hander, which is followed by another long turn which is onto the right hand.
It just feels like an eternity, this particular section of the track. You just have to really stay on your toes. And now you can put down the power for for a moment, I suppose. He's easing off as he's on his outlap, as a matter of fact. But it's nice to see our pole sitter getting the prep work done. Drivers should be on the track by now if they want to get onto the leaderboard, or else their time will run out. So yeah, this will be a crucial lap now, last chance saloon for everybody who has yet to cross the line. Now on an actual hot lap is 15th placed Jari Katila, representing World Class Lines on a fetching Bumblebee livery today. He's just gone a little bit too wide on that corner, but no particular harm done. He's just heading into the final half of the lap now. Just got to keep the gear and the revs low for that corner, otherwise he would have been understeering too much and using the curb effectively there.
Yeah, world-class lines drivers are usually good with LRF cars, FZ5, RATS, how you pronounce it. As we see also Arska in 6th place, and Teemu Soini, who is usually in the mid or back of the field, is now in 7th place, as Jari Katila is in 15th, doing also exceptionally well.
Yeah, very impressive. It will feel a bit daunting, even though he is in the middle of the pack. He's 4.29 seconds off pole, but I suppose that's about 1 second per sector. It's not the worst situation in the world. As he enters the final chicane, ready to cross the line, and hopefully this is the lap time. If not, well, he has one last chance if he's got the petrol in the tank. This is going to be close, actually, as we move over to our provisional pole sitter, Botsy, who will be in the middle of the sector as well, the middle sector. Oh, he's actually aborted the lap. So, Kauppanen is a driver yet to set a time. A bit of front end damage there, maybe just ever so slight. Hopefully, he'll be able to get a registered lap time.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have to start from the back.
As Ricciardo beats Botsy by 1/10 of a second for the pole position.
Oh, that's a big revelation. Well done to Ricciardo there. Great spot. And that could be a huge gauntlet thrown down. With the championship in mind, it could be the day he wins. He certainly pulls out too big of a lead for everyone else to compete with.
As we still await Unite's time, he's on his hot lap now, finishing in the 2nd sector. He still doesn't have any lap time on the board, and will be probably trying to get this one right.
Yeah, you better believe it. We've no real evidence of what he's capable of, but apart from his previous exploits. But if today is a good day for him, I'd say he'd be aiming for 5th place. That would be success in my estimation. Iron Donny on screen here. Big oversteer moment there, but a lovely controlled slide nevertheless. And again, I think he's just enjoying himself there as he sprints closer and closer to the final lap time. Yeah, here we go. You're about to cross the line. It should be... No, it won't be an improvement now.
No,
yeah,
it's
just
not.
shy of his best time of the session.
So I'm watching Unite on the exit of final turn. He runs wide into the grass, but holds the car in the straight line and crosses the finish line. Now it's not a good time. It's only 12th place.
Yeah, I'd say he'll be disappointed with that, but it was a one and done show.
Yeah, it was actually his first lap according to LFS World, because it was his personal best by a mile.
Yeah, that's interesting. At least his number decides to just waltz over the line. No real effort put into that. Maybe his fuel ran out, you never know. Other drivers still on track. We've got Jaroslav Donalik, a favourite within the RT4 circle. He's a regular and lovely control there.
Yeah, nice and tidy through the final two turns. Holds it almost fully on the tarmac. This lap could be good, but let's see.
Oh, he's decided to pull into the pits.
Oh, okay. Well, probably not so good. Still, 14th position is good for him. He also beats his countryman Michael, who is only in 27th, and he doesn't keep a secret that he doesn't like this car.
Yeah, it's certainly a divisive vehicle in their car list on LFS. And here's Lorenzo, who's probably got my favorite livery of the day, a lovely fetching red and white, but he decides to merge very deep into the wall and goes 14th. I believe that has concluded our qualifying session for RTFR XL round 11. So we can confirm the starting grid for the race, and it shall be as follows. Yeah, perfect. Here we go. It is Sidus 1-2 with Ricardo just a tenth of a second clear of Botzi. 2-minute 41.82 was a successful time, followed by Lacunas, Upsas, and Arska in the top 5. Kig, beg your pardon. Kig is 5th place. Arska, Soini, Pavluski, Doni, and Fadas are in the top 10, with Climbs, Unite, Rony, Lorenzo, Donalik, Rayman, Yari Katila, Redbot, Twin Cam, and Number for the top 20. Kid, do you want to take the rest?
Yes, let's do it. 21st is Uvek, then is Pedro from Brazil, Talhanberg, Magic, Carlos, Mikpa, Michael, Matt 55, Litty surprisingly in 29th place from Sidus, Mega, then it's Desnaše, Toto Zavidovsky, Lucas, pit lane racer, and behind him also another Sidus, Gabor. Guys probably saving some fun for the race. Finuk, Mr. Kaupinen, and Mr. Niemela. There are some big gaps in the qualifying, as the first 3 guys are in a half a second, and then it's 0.8 of a second to 4th place Opsas, then another 9-10 seconds to Kig in 5th place. So we will probably see some guys running away from with the race, and the rest fighting it out.
Yeah, that's certainly a great possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Now, I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It is the big announcement trailer for the next stage in LFS history. So there you have it. Chat was absolutely buzzing at the sight of that. So what did you think, kid?
What about that? I'm absolutely hyped for this. I can't wait as we hit a record amount of viewers for this. This is absolutely amazing and brings a big expectations, but also big possibilities into the future.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. And there's something for everybody in that early list of cars, and indeed a bit of football as well. Can't go wrong. So we're just waiting now for the race to begin. Shouldn't be too long. And I think everyone probably has their favorite. Feel free to let us know. If you didn't see the qualification, here's a quick reminder of how everybody will line up for the race.
No surprises at the top with Sidus guys and Mr. Lagutskas or Lacunas or what name he chooses for the day. And it's Upsas, Kik, Arska, Soini, Pablos, Kidoni, and Fadas rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, and plenty of strong competition in the top 20 as well. Rony has, well, I hope lucky 13. It would be nice to see him doing well. He had a good round in regular Rony's Tuesday Fun race last time out. One of his highest results. So we'll see how he'll get on. And then drivers from the back as well. We've got Magic 24th. We've got Litty 29th. And Gabor in 35th. So lots of drivers will need that extra time that RT4 XL provides to get as high as they possibly can.
There was also an announcement yesterday at the Formula 8 race I was attending. Lorenzo has actually joined Race Green Events team, so we can give him a nice welcome into RG family.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see. Lots of drivers are getting signed up into fully fledged teams. Yeah, it's not something I've personally experienced. I've just had some races with my friends, but I wasn't really a part of a serious team. But we've got so many strong outfits out there. You'll recognize them from their tags in the qualifying results there. So we'll see how the new relationship between Race Green and Lorenzo pans out for them.
So we should be starting any moment now, as the time is 8:10, which is the official start time. We are still waiting for some drivers to join the track before the race, and we can start right after that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of admin we all have to keep up with LFS, so just gotta hang on in there. Yeah, certainly the race about, it's not something, I know I've said I've driven it once or twice, but to see it driven properly, that's something I'm not at all familiar with, so I'm very excited in that regard. In fact, we might get more people onto the grid, or people also trying to get a spot, the last available spots.
Yeah, Ionic Attila is actually just asking for a setup and fuel, so he will start from the back, and another driver to watch, as we have the call to restart the race, and we will be go very soon.
If anybody didn't get to catch the trailer on the first go around, we will play it once again on our YouTube, or we'll play it once again at the end of the stream, and we'll have it available on YouTube as well. But now we have a grid, we have drivers encouraged to go racing. So there you can see a massive grid, even more than we anticipated, to be honest. It's great to see. It's just a matter of those lights, which will set Ricardo and the rest of our drivers away for 28 laps.
As the red lights go on, and we are go.
a bit of a drag. These cars really push down the torque on the rear end, but Ricciardo so far so good into the lead. Plenty of space down the run down to the first set of corners. Just got to mind your manners here for the, particularly if you're in the middle of the circuit, you're going to understeer. You can see some drivers getting caught nearly on the grass. Need to use as much space as possible. And now it's one of the more nasty little navigation sequences. It's very tight right here, but one or two cars on the grass. That's
very
world-class
nice.
line.
Very nice through the first difficult sector where you have to drive, turn and brake at the same time. The drivers managed to do very well. No crashes, only one car left behind.
Litty really struggling on the grass, and then we do have a spin now. Teemu Soini was struggling. He had to merge onto the grass, and he just got a little bit of a tag, sent into a spin.
Yeah, light damage to his car, but I think he will continue. But that's a big shame for him, as he had a really good qualifying.
Botzi's under pressure from Upsas in the battle for second place. Ricciardo has a 3 or 4 tenths of a second lead as they enter the never-ending right-hander. Just goes on and on and on, and that's Upsas sneaking into the available gap on the apex. Beautiful and smooth overtake there. But a long way to go on this opening lap. Thankfully, every driver seems to still be running, whether or not they're in prime condition. We hopefully, well, we do know 1 or 2 drivers will be struggling for a bit. Yeah, Botzi will now be desperate to get that second place back.
Spin in the back of the field. Somebody crashed. Litty has spectated, so that's a quite early end for one of the black horses of this race. I have to mention also that the 4th place probably is missing, as Kig is now in 4th place and he qualified 5th. He's also now catching up to Botzi. So either Botzi is struggling or Kig has a really good race set up. I would bet on the first, as Kig is now right behind Botzi. Botzi even has to go defensive.
This is far from ideal for Botzi. Like the never-ending right-hander. It's just a corner that will not be controllable. The other driver can predict what you're going to do and adapt to it. But for Botzi, now that we've final chicane about to come up, yeah, you can see that's bad. Now that's really bad understeer. Just heading into this final complex, a lovely wide camera shot here, and you can just catch the light blue of Botzi. Perfect spot there. He's got Arska to worry about as well. So real problems here for Botzi in the battle for the podium.
Kik is in his slipstream and he is catching up, but I don't think he will make it before the right-hander. He stays to the outside wisely, probably, because it's not a good place to overtake with this car. Even especially a driver like Botzi, who is normally very collected and in control.
Yes, but maybe a bit of a reprieve coming up here. Kig's entry into the right-hander wasn't as good, and Arska will put the pressure on. The temptation to use all of the grass and the runoff, it's definitely going to be offered to a lot of drivers, and this is very, very fast section coming up. You have to be very careful. You don't want to drop out of 4th gear either. You're going to even hit the wall, for example. So you just don't want to lose the momentum, but you don't want to be hitting the wall too often either. So I think this is a great moment now for Botzi, who's gotten away by over a second from Kig. Ricciardo's lead is strong as well, but now
Arska goes down the inside, yes, and he takes the opportunity. He locks his front right tire, but he makes it into the turn safely. He holds the line and overtakes Kig for the 4th place. I'm sorry.
No problem at all. Kig is now fighting back, and his teammate Pawlitzki is welcoming into the scene. So Kig gets his position back. Arska, heading into the mini back straight, is now under supreme pressure here from MRC's other driver. It's Pawlitzki to the inside. Oh, not quite this time. There's not enough momentum available there. He's just going to hug this next apex as well. Plenty of curb available to him there. Watch out for the snap oversteer onto the crest. And now ready to brake again.
Indeed. Turbo lag can make a lot of problems for drivers if the setup is not right, because as some drivers mentioned before the race, the turbo lag is quite slow compared to like more modern cars. and if you don't adjust to it, a snap oversteer might kill you or your tires very easily.
Yeah, plenty more battles to talk about. I see Rony, but another example, it's True Alpha, Yanni Catilla. He's taking on the police. It's MRC's Mega driving a police vehicle. And now, side-by-side battle into the final sector. It's on the line here. Who's going to blink first? Oh, I think Mega has to give up that corner. Yeah.
Oh,
he's going to
hit contact.
Oh,
and Yoli's
no.
out. There was a slight contact of Mega, it was, who had a contact with the curb and which unsettled his car, and it's all set off after that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, kid. He was trying to give up the corner, but if he, as you said earlier with the turbo lag, if you give up too much momentum, you're going to suffer terribly down the straights. Ricciardo put in the fastest lap. But
As we have also first pit stops from Pedro, Redbot, and Maciek, who decide to pit early and get a clean track.
Yeah, there is mandatory pit stop in the RT4 XL series, so you can take it whenever you want, as long as you manage to fit it in within the time, or else you face penalty. So Rony, I've seen him before take very early pit stops, but with his position at the moment, saving that mistake, he might have to go longer here. He doesn't want to suffer too much traffic when he's doing so well.
Yeah, a few things I wanted to mention was actually Ronnie, because he made up a good amount of positions after start, as he runs 8th, I think, right now. Also, Joni Katila, as we saw, he was running up to 16th before his crash, but still making up tons of places. As Mikpa takes out Joni Katila, he takes him out on the entry of the long spoon curve. This was no snap oversteer. This was just very, very bad judgment, I think. So Joni loses more positions within one lap. Very bad. It turns very good to very, very bad to him in a very short time.
Yeah, that's terribly unfortunate. If you can carry on, there is still a lot of lap times to go. So he just needs to get the head down and work away. Currently on board now with Talhenberg, yet another MRC representative. Out of his roll bar, you can see the car driven by Climbs. So he needs to gain those 0.7 of a second to make a case for him being in 11th. So if you can avoid distraction from Donnelly behind, then he should be ready to go, hopefully very soon.
I'm still watching the fight as Joni caught Mikpa for the second time, and there was another contact between them as he overtook him. So no love lost between these two, but definitely.
Yeah, just better off to go on into their own space rather than tussling and wasting more time. And let's check out Lorenzo now. That brand new acquisition for Race Green. Number has the track position at the moment, but the slipstream as they shift into the 5th gear, 130 miles an hour down the back straight now. I think Number's actually gained a bit of momentum now, should be safe from a dive bomb.
There's a crash in turn 1. Somebody was out.
It's Tallenberg, the previously mentioned.
And Climbs, yeah.
Oh, Climbs. Goodness me. That's going to be easy pickings for Number now. Climbs has no opportunity. Oh, he's actually going to get swatted away by Lorenzo. That's unfortunate. Didn't quite catch it, I'm afraid. And Gabor has now landed on the vicinity of that battle. So I'd say that'll be good news for Gabor.
Indeed, he's one of the number of drivers who are making good progress through the field, along with Number as well. Michael has made a good progress into 12th position in his hated car. Jarda Dohnalik and also other guys. As Ronnie overtakes Fadas for a position, or maybe Fadas was catching Ronnie.
Yeah. So yeah, Ronnie will want to just persevere as best he can. Just see that was As I say, he's just
Oh,
got onto the grass, and in fact, Fat Ass was also struggling a bit in the corner. So Unite doubles his money there, gaining 2 positions, or maybe not. He's made
Unite
his
goes.
own oversteer.
Oh,
Goodness.
yeah. He's not saving his tires. He needs the positions because his championship rival is running away in the front.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But now another close battle for a high position with plenty of points. It's Kig versus Arska. So the distraction tactics needed by Kig here. Can he put off his opponent for now into the final series of bends before the 5th lap shall begin for these drivers? Arska holds off for the moment. You can just feel those tires, the road tires, once they start conceding grip, they really cannot hang on. So a little bit wise from Kig, but now Arska. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, Arska was taking a big liberty with the curbs in the previous section, which gave him a good speed on the start-finish straight, and now he has a chance to battle kick into the first turn, takes him round the out, or tries to take him round the outside, but it's not that easy, and Kick holds it into the first turn, brakes early enough to send it and stay in 4th position.
Yeah, and Kig was very cavalier to take a little bit of a shortcut there through the mini left-hander. Keeps him safe and sound as things stand. But they'll battle on for another lap, that's for sure. I'm now seeing Michael versus Number. They're getting close as they enter the run down to the first sector. Michael is doing okay. No real sweating so far there. Now his entry for the left-right sequence, pretty good. He's got good traction out of the corner onto the oval section now. They'll be heading to the traditional left-hand turn as opposed to the reverse. Gabor is in sight now as well.
Gabor is catching Number.
That's right, yeah. We'll see if he takes a lunge into the never-ending right-hander. Oh, he does
sends
indeed.
it to the inside. Wow, that was from far behind, considering the car they are driving.
Yeah, and that gives another position to Gabor. That's him in 13th. But here we are, our favourite drivers of the opening run of the race, Kig and Arska. If they squabble any longer, Pawlowski is going to force the initiative and gain into a side-by-side. I'd have to admit it will be very close. Kig blocking nice and handily on the apex.
This is pretty amazing. Still going on for the 4th place. Arska again taking a big liberty with the curbs, as his setup is probably allowing him to do so. Kig runs a bit wide. Arska doesn't capitalize on it, but he will have the slipstream on this straight.
Yeah, it might not last long enough because this corner coming up the right-hand kink, it's a little too dangerous to go side by side there. Just not enough momentum in these cars.
Arska goes over the curbs, now runs wide, but still manages to be faster on the exit than Kig.
Oh, it's going to be close now. Arska's best opportunity. If he can just get a little bit more of his nose in front, this would definitely be worth the P4 for good.
Yeah.
It's looking strong. Just needs
same
a little
situation
bit more.
as in the last lap, but Arska takes it around the outside. Nice move by him. Kig has to concede, and I think Arska now has the clean route to show what's in him and his car.
Yeah, it's Arska's moment of truth. You want to sprint away from Kig if he's going to give himself a chance to really conserve his tires and keep his whatever strategy he has in mind, because all these distractions just allows the top 3 to pull further and further away. Kig hits the wall again. He hasn't been gobbled up by Pawlowski. The sector time's just coming in there. Arska about nearly just above half a second in front.
Sorry to interrupt you, but as we have Fadas and Unite battling on the oval for 7th and 8th position, or 8th and 9th, Unite overtook Fadas on the oval, and Fadas doesn't fight back. Probably knows that Unite is the faster one, as it seems so to me.
Yeah, no problem at all. That was a good spot. And Unite, plenty more work for him to do as we are entering the first quarter, thereabouts of the race, maybe first fifth. Yeah, so this is Unite, who has to pull away and catch up to Iron Donny, who has a cushion between him and the driver in front, and indeed Unite behind. Here we are now with Botsy. Chance has emerged for him to regain that position off Upsas. This is as close as they've been for a while, but in terms of Ricardo, he's too far ahead. As things stand, a 3.67 advantage at the most recent classification. So if Upsas can get the chicane spot on, he should be safe for another moment. But you can see, very brave from Botsy in the rear view there. He had a great swerve into the corner. No stress on the tires or the downforce of the car. So I think next time by we will see an attack from Botsy. He's looking really good now. I think his tires are settled in, and he's got his confidence going.
Yeah, he actually had his last lap 0.5 of a second faster than Upsas, and he's only 0.5 of a second behind. So, as you said, one more lap and it might be closer. But as we watch Pawlowski with Kick, and Pawlowski getting some team orders as well as Kick, probably changing positions, and Pawlowski will try to chase Arska, who's now almost 3 seconds ahead. So that's only one lap and such a big gap.
Oh, actually, Kick might have a little warning shot against his teammates. So maybe they were cooperating with the slipstream. Kick slowed down a little bit to give Pawlowski the boost, and maybe Pab was a little too comfortable and left the door wide open for the right-hander. So there you are now. Whether it's cooperation or not, we'll have to wait and see with Iron Donny. Yeah, a bit of synchronization. But now, yeah, I think with Iron Donny waiting in the wings, they're going to play more oval racing style synchronization to protect each other from the oncoming threat. And if Kig dives to the inside, he might do. Oh, that's going to be close. This is a distraction, I'm afraid.
Barely.
Yeah,
there's Iron Donny, Unite, and Fadas closing from behind, so they will have to somehow decide who's in the first place. As Donny already tries to pass Kick, he's on the inside but loses the rear a bit, and Donny goes around the outside, and it's 6th place for him.
Yeah, gets a rear right tire onto the grass, but very well held. And he's got to shake Kick off as best he can, using a bit of weaving, nothing too malicious. I think this is a section where if you let your concentration drop for a moment, you're going to end up deep in the gravel or hitting the barrier. It just really forced your concentration with the downhill sweeps and uphill runs as well. Great combination of corners down here at the bottom of the map. That's a little late braking there. You can feel a bit of rumble for Donny there. Would have been a bit of a moment to brace the wheel and just make sure you hold onto the rear end. With Unite now, he's waiting in the wings for his opportunity to battle with Kig, and it could happen very soon indeed. Fastest lap set by Ricardo, who continues to streak away in the lead. Kig gets onto the grass, the 2 right wheels on the grass, and here comes Unite. This is a great opportunity. He can pick the inside or do what we saw with Arska, go to the outside. He's going to pick up as much slipstream as he can, and now the inside has opened up for him, and that's a clean overtake. If he can just position himself well here on the apex, spot on.
Another position for Unite gained in the battle with his teammate for the championship. after not so well done qualification, I think he should pick up another 2 or 3 positions before the race is done, which should be his maximum as well, as the front runners are too far ahead.
Right, Shark Kid. I've just spotted Sidus Gabor, another Sidus driver, gaining. It's on Rony this time. That was into the tight right-hander, but Rony has a little bit of a window to counter. Oh yes, Gabor hits the wall. Rony has a few miles an hour advantage. If he can just get that slipstream and then position the car properly, he's gonna stay high on the banking. Gabor needs to avoid the apron, or else his car will shoot up into the middle of the track. But I think Gabor can defend here. This should be optimum. Yeah, this looks optimum to me. Good defense. And yeah, Gabor looks much more comfortable.
Yeah, Ronnie's tires are a little bit more hot, as you saw on the exit to the oval section. He was sliding around, which doesn't help his chances to fight Gabor, who now runs away from him.
Yeah, Sidus, while we had them and contrasting positions up and down the field, they are starting to settle into this race. Unfortunately, Litty was an early casualty and had to withdraw from the race. But now we are starting to see the class of the field rise to the top. Lorenzo, just spotting him on the battle front with Michael. This is for 15th and 16th. There we are. Lorenzo. Yeah, this is where you have to follow the leader. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot you can do as a driver except to put off your opponent.
At the same time, Pawlowski and Donny almost Donny trying to overtake Pawlowski, very closely following him into the final section of turns, and Unite going into the mix. So 3-wide battle coming onto the final on the start-finish straight, but Pawlowski has the better exit and slipstream. Donny has the better exit and slipstream of Pawlowski.
Oh, he's a bit of gamesmanship there from Pawlowski. It looked like he was committing to the pit lane, and then he merges onto the yellow paint and pulls back onto the track. So if one of the drivers was assuming he was going to pit, they would have thought wrong. But Kig...
Yes.
Yeah, Kig does pit. And unfortunately, I think his setup, he says it's a qualifying setup on his car, so that means his tires must have surely burnt out, and you need to cool them down as soon as you can. And he actually had damage, so a 10-second minimum stop time is required. I forgot to mention that as well, but he pitted for 22 seconds, so he's done more than enough to ensure he doesn't have to pit again.
That's a big shame for him.
Yeah, it's a terrible shame. No problem.
As Donny now has the draft of Pawlowski, goes to the outside on the oval, but he will have the inside for the next turn. Let's see what he does. He brakes later and holds it steady, but still no overtake. It's very close battle now. 3-way battle between Pawlowski, Donny, and Unite, who is also in a hurry.
That's right. Unite needs to get his momentum going and get a move on. Pab just a little bit wide. That puts severe pressure on him now. He has to take a commitment to the inside apex. But Unite is just holding, waiting to see what happens. And there's his moment. This should be Donny. Oh no, he decides to back off. Actually, I was looking at Donny's perspective myself.
That was very close.
Yeah, Unite realised it wouldn't have been worth it, but it was certainly an opportunity if he wanted to take it, and it would have been taken later on in the race. There would have been no holds barred there with the race coming to a close, but it's still too early to go for a broke. Unite is just holding off again. He's waiting to see what happens next. Pab, that's a bad exit, really slippery exit onto the outside curb for him there, and it gives Donny the opportunity to go on the outside line. But this is where we saw a tragedy earlier for two of the drivers making contact. So for Donny, he just has to follow the outside and cut in, with Pab staying inside and leaning out. as the momentum drags him away from the corner. But now onto the start-finish straight. This is a high-pressure situation. Will Pawlowski play mind games again?
He
No, he
pits.
does pit. That's a real pit this time.
I think this is good news for Donny. I think he feels much faster than Pawlowski was as he slides into the first turn and gives the position to Unite. So that's a shame for him.
That's a dream situation for Unite, though, it has to be said. He gains those positions at just the right time. Can now concentrate on his own strategy and see if anything happens up front. But Arska, all on his own for P4, will now be on full alert, knowing that a Sidus driver is going to be the next car behind him. But full alert for MRC's Michael with World Class Lions True Alpha getting the better of him out of the hairpin right hand double apex, and now it's his turn to regain loads positions. But no, it's a bad slide, a really bad slide.
He hit the sausage curb on the inside and that unsettled his car and loses 2 positions to Michael, and looks like it is Lorenzo, yes. He overtakes Lorenzo right away, but that was a small mistake on his end, which cost him a big time.
Yeah, it's just one thing leads to another for True Alpha. It's not been a day to remember for him so far, but with those extra laps added on, it's not a half an hour, 35-minute race. We'll be going all the way around the hour. See who really is the best around Kyoto Ring. Lorenzo has one last chance to battle back against Yanni, but it doesn't look to be happening for him here.
Still, Yanni has to defend from Lorenzo because of the small mistakes he accumulated over the last lap. Meanwhile, in the last lap, Gabor did a pretty fast lap of 2 minutes 43 seconds 77 hundredths, which puts him very close behind fastest lap of the race. He's catching Iron Donny and Unite, and he already passed Fadas at some point in this lap as he was behind him. Yeah,
and the blue flags are waving for Kauppanen, who's running 26th, and he decides the best way to move aside is to enter the pits, as you can see there. Good job. And we've lost Climbs. I think Climbs is just DNF'd from the race, so we're down another driver. Indeed,
one of the drivers to spin or crash in the turn 1 in the opening laps.
Yeah, it's so difficult to rescue a race if you've had an accident at the first corner. So Kauppanen takes body repair to his car, so he'll be able to carry on to the end of the race.
Meanwhile, Gabor overtook Iron Donny on the start-finish straight and goes after his teammate Unite, who hits the wall on the oval entry and gives the position for free.
Goodness, yeah, that's a hammer blow to Unite, who worked so hard for about 5 or 10 minutes to gain those places, and then he just hands it on a silver platter to Gabor. So Unite will really want to work hard and gain that back.
But as they go, they are slowly closing to Arskas. They still have 17 and something laps to go and 4 seconds to catch him. So there is still some prospect of improving his position.
Indeed, yeah. And Kig, who's trying to work his way back up after the pit stop, he decided to take. He has fine work of it against Donnelly, who was loose into the entry of the oval, and he's up to 19th.
Yeah, another position easily gained on the oval entry, as Yarda had some problems, still holding close to Kig, but he's not even that slower. His fastest lap is not that much slower than Kicks, but the qualifying result was probably the main deciding factor in how their races will turn out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really the challenge that is to overtake other drivers, even if you are one of the fastest hot lappers. It's such a different challenge to actually beat drivers with race ups. And onto the grass. That's Teemu Soini. That is Soini. Yeah, that's a bad section for him. And in fact, another car is on the grass just ahead. That's Tallenberg, and that allows Soini to cane. Move there should be smooth enough for our Finnish friend there. There you go. Tallenberg will be livid with that. Such a disappointment to have it all four wheels on the grass, and he lost those places. So Pawlowski working his way back up himself after a pit stop. He'll be delighted.
Yeah, Soini runs wide again, and Tallenberg has a pretty easy run on him. This race is not Soini's good one, as although he had a good qualifying, now is dropping down the field, now down to 17th place if Tallenberg manages to hold this position. And yeah, Soini doesn't defend as he's one of the gentleman drivers.
Yeah, that's definitely a key attribute for Teemu. He loves, keeping his car clean and making sure other drivers, that they play fair. I suppose it was just a case where he knows any more mistakes and he'd be really struggling. So it's just better to let the opponent go. And just a little further down the road from Soini, Tallenberg, etc., it's Donnelly. Just starting to lose out a little bit to Kig now. He has no real opposition behind him. Red Bot will be about 4 or 5 seconds down the road. Yeah, about 3 seconds on the last split. So Donnelly will just have to concentrate on his own race now. See what will happen next in front of him. You want to avoid side-by-side battle with Kig for too long in case of contacts.
Yeah. Up front, meanwhile, as we were watching them last time, Gabor was 4 seconds behind Arska, but look, just 1 lap and something, and he's already on his back, 4 tenths separating them, and Gabor going full on attack mode with a series of personal best laps.
Yeah, this is a real renaissance drive for Gabor. He's really showing what his metal is all about. Arska just a little loose. His entry into the chicane is compromised. Maybe Gabor just wanted to hang back for a bit there. Didn't want to distract Arska while he was sliding around the place. Oh, we've lost Unite. No. It's a timeout. Unite is out of the race. That is absolutely critical. I feel your sentiment entirely. That is desperate. And Ricardo has it all on his own in the championship. But Gabor put in the fastest lap of the race so far. Arska decides to get out of the way.
Arska ran wide into the grass with his left rear wheel, and he has no other choice than the left. But yeah, I was just thinking that somebody has disappeared from the racing order, and it was Unite, unfortunately for him. That's a big shame.
It certainly is. Can't believe the misfortune there. But Number and Rony will have a little bit of a tussle here. Number has the advantage despite a small trip there into the right-hander. And Rony, can he use the car's momentum to catch himself back up as we enter the oval? That's pretty good. That is impressive there by Rony, keeping the firm grip with the car. And he's just going to hold his line here. He doesn't need to work it too hard with the banking here. Can he plot his next move into the next couple of corners? I think he's going to be close here, but he has to start shifting down to third. Yeah, he's done so. And Number will, yeah, he will have lost a tenth of a second there. Not too bad. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next there.
I have to say we are in 13th lap, but still this is a pretty amazing race. All the time something is happening. Guys are really handling the car well and delivering pretty good action tonight.
Another point to make for Rony is the bodywork has been damaged. The left front suspension as well. You just see it on your broadcast there. You can sense around these corners it's going to be difficult to keep the car fully committed onto the racing line. But if he chooses to pit with the damage repair, then he will lose out on a fair bit of time, but it will get him safely to the end, I would say.
He still has some gap to the cars behind, but next one behind is Joni Katilo as a true alpha, who's catching pretty rapidly, so that will probably mean for him that he will have to yield one position. He's dealing with massive oversteer in the fast turns, so that doesn't help his rear tires, as mentioned before. That's also a decisive factor for his race.
Yeah, the wheel-wheel drive aspect of the raceabout means that if you lose that grip, that's your entire traction compromised. Yeah, and no rear anti-roll bar either. Strong lap there for Joni, 2 minute 45.33. And not quite the ultimate pace that we see up front, but if you can just rattle those laps away, Rony will be caught in maybe 2 or 3 laps from now. Yeah, maybe 3.5 laps from now.
Basically, Joni managed to get 1 second off Rony in the last sector, so I think maybe even in this lap, who knows? But let's see. This will be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's predictions at your peril, I think. It can be proven wrong just like that. But Number so far has a comfortable 4/10 of a second advantage over Rony. That's just about enough to avoid a heavy slipstream against you. But I think the contrasting attitudes into the never-ending right-hander, it feels like Number has made a mistake, but he certainly has not made a mistake. It's just a case that he wants to take that corner as smoothly as he can, doesn't need to hug the curb, and he just gets on with his business. And Rony will just have to keep working away if he wants to close the gap. Maybe here, this looks better now. Won't be enough necessarily, but definitely looked like one of Rony's best corners of the lap.
You could already see some glimpses of Joni Katila closing from behind in some of the wide angle shots from a few seconds ago. He's now 2.2 seconds behind 2.1. It's really, the gap is closing really fast.
Yeah, this is crucial for Rony's fortunes now. There's Joni now, just a little bit of a speck. He's going to grow in size soon enough. So maybe Rony's better off just trying to avoid the dirty air from Number's car and just get his ultimate lap times in as best he can. But yeah, it could certainly be an accurate prediction from my co-commentator in terms of how long Rony can stay in front. As we see a big pit stopper now, it's Gabor from 5th place. Just going to wait and see if he can hold the car for the 10-second mandatory.
He wrote in the chat something about sausage curb, so maybe there's some damage to his car which he has to repair now. He's stationary for a long time.
This is about 20 seconds. This is a 20-second stop thereabouts, maybe 25 seconds.
He's down to 11th place. Still waiting as Lorenzo comes by and passes him at least for now. 13th. 14th.
Yeah, this is game over for Gabor. 40 seconds. 4
and drive-through penalty as a bonus.
Yes, he's been caught speeding, and that's
he
enough.
Retires.
He's had enough.
He retires.
No, that's a shame.
That's a big shame, yeah.
Yeah.
He has been running consistently very fast laps. Almost felt like he would be challenging for the lead if he didn't qualify so badly. Meanwhile, up front, Ricciardo is leading comfortably by 11 seconds from Upsas, who is further 3 seconds ahead of Botsi, who was at some point closer to him, but Upsas managed to pass him early in the race and just pull away. So that's a good job by him. Then behind Botsi is Arska, who is 22 seconds behind, and that's a big gap. As we predicted before the race, the top 3 just run away with it, and the rest is fighting their own battles.
Indeed, yeah, it was the supremacy that you could predict from the qualifying times. But Redbot, we've talked about him once or twice, but now we get to see him as Lorenzo, recently out of the pit lane, has to defend his position into the right-hander that never ends. Can he sweep around the inside? He's got that grip. It's just not quite enough there as Lorenzo can get back on the power. But the inside line, Lorenzo's going to cover it off for the moment. You have to follow the leader here. But now this is where you can plot an attack. Lorenzo, yeah, I think he's actually recovered it somewhat there. Redbot will have to do something extraordinary to lead on his own merits, or take that position. Lorenzo not looking like a mistake is in his future for the moment, but we'll see how those drivers cope with the drivers in front of them. It's Jaroslav Donalik and Kig continuing their battles from before. We'll see if Kig can block that apex. Yeah, that should be fine. He takes a bit of curb with him. No harm done.
As Number goes into the pit lane, he was passed by Joni Katila, who also passed Rony in a very short period of time, and now runs up in 6th place already after the misfortunes of his first laps and 2 crashes within 1 lap. He did a pretty good recovery drive. Still has to pit though, I think, but I think he's set up for a good result.
Yeah, it's definitely a significant improvement in Yanni's fortunes now, as he's been able to set the lap times that he wants to and isn't getting balked by other drivers. But now let's check out Donalik. Oh no! Oh, that's gotta hurt. He saved it though. If you can just
still off track. Yeah, but he's pretty skilled. He has a good experience with LFS, so he knows what to do.
Just watch out for Redbot and Lorenzo though. Just reappeared onto the track with the 2 drivers coming up to him. That was a supreme skill to rescue that car. It took a long time for him to do it with the grass taking away his traction. But there you go. He can carry on even if he's lost 2 positions.
Indeed, a good control and a good save and rejoin from him. As we now watch Michael battling with Arska currently, who was in the pit lane.
Yeah, Arska got a 10.7 second pit stop, so should be handy enough to complete the second half of the race. A little bit of a mistake there, but nothing too serious.
I almost lost it, but Hull did well, and I think Michael is just watching him slowly disappear as he holds this 9th position, which is also good considering the skin he has with the text written on the front bonnet and on the rear of the car.
Yes, meh is a keyword of a very good friend of mine. I'm sure if he was watching the stream, he'd latch onto that. But Pedro Bior is going to be lapped by these 2 cars. He's got enough gap, so maybe he'll just hang on to the start finish. Yeah, there you can see the other silver car in front. He's going to be lapped by these drivers. So if he can just get a good chicane entry, he can then merge over to the side and let these faster cars go. So Arska will want as much slipstream as he can from Pedro.
Meanwhile, sorry to interrupt you, Fadas and True Alpha pit both at the same time, and True Alpha already passed Fadas on this lap as he was behind him.
Yeah, that's another very important factor. Fat ass, 10.35 second stop. Oh, 10.52 for Yanni.
Both exit at the same time. Yeah, and Yanni, both, it's pit limiter fight.
Yanni is sped.
Oh, no.
I don't believe it.
What a mistake to make in such an important moment. He's still ahead, but this will cost him at least 20 seconds of his time extra, and another misfortune in his pretty up and down race.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate moment there. No speed limiter option on these cars. You just have to either set up your first gear, or more likely just blip the throttle as close to the 50 miles an hour as you can. But unfortunately, the temptation was too great for Yoni, and he ended up breaking the speed limit.
Yeah, so that now makes another further progress for Fadas easier, as he will probably very soon catch Jari Katila and have a fight for currently 10th position, and as Joni will have to pit for his drive-through penalty.
And now we're going to check Redbot's progress again. Lorenzo has a 0.3 of a second advantage. Yeah, it's going to shrink for a brief moment here, unless Redbot wants to psych out Lorenzo at the right-hander. I think, yeah, Redbot has to drop down to third. He's dropping a bit too high, really, but you can cut back inside as soon as the grip returns to him. So I think advantage Lorenzo for this current lap. So the order of the race so far, it's Ricardo in the lead there, a 12-second advantage over Upsas. And we have Abotzi running third, another Sidus car, but only two of them remaining. Then we've got Donny just about to enter the pits. Donny, as I say, I was about to look at him. He enters the pits. That gives our next driver, Rony, who has yet to pit, the opportunity to run in fourth position, unless he wants to pit himself, maybe. No, he's going to keep going. So Rony will take fourth place for the moment. Donny with a 10.10 second pit stop. Almost perfection there. So safely out for Donny, but a few cars. Yeah, he should get clear air. Yeah, so there are a big gaggle of cars coming though. We got Number, Fadas, and the Catillas all close together. But Yanni has to take his drive for now.
So Lorenzo runs wide in the final section of corners. Jari Katila pits, and Lorenzo still manages to keep Redbot out of the slipstream.
Yeah, this is another case that Lorenzo can. This is Yanni. He's going to be taking. Yeah, I think that's 12th place now. Yanni just ahead of the battlers, Lorenzo and Redbot, representing Race Green, the two of them. So that was a relief. If there is a silver lining in the clouds for Yanni Katila, he has not been dragged into this battle.
Indeed, as if he would exit the pits behind him, it would cost him a lot of time. Now he has 3 seconds to gig and 10 seconds to number ahead, so there's still 10 laps ahead of us, so he has a chance to make some amends to his final position, or some improvements, I mean.
Yeah, I'd say Number is probably his ultimate target, being realistic, but I suppose Rony is a driver that will pit at some stage. Maybe he could catch him up as well. Yeah. But the Lorenzo versus Redbot battle continues. There's no real opportunity for a move yet. Lorenzo's not going to run wide. Just puts a wheel on the grass, but nothing more.
And up front, there's actually some change in the gap between Upsas and Botsi, who was more than 2.5 seconds faster than Upsas in the last lap. So there must have been some mistake. Upsas is now in his sights, so hopefully. Oh, that's a big hit by Botsi and more damage to his car, which was already pretty damaged. Probably overmotivated with Upsas closer than he was before. Makes a mistake.
Yeah, he was starting to gain, but he's lost a chunk of time. And that right or the left-hand side, particularly for these right-hand corners, just going to be torturous for him to try and keep the car safe. But now we've got Michael taking a pit stop in his terrible car. We'll see if he can at least keep to the 10 seconds. Yes, he can. And let's also give Michael a big round of applause and a great thank you for creating the trailer for us earlier in the broadcast. And if you're looking forward to seeing it, we will, of course, show it again towards the end. You can also find it on the Live for Speed's YouTube channel after the stream as well. Michael just behind Joni Katila, as a matter of fact. So another position for Joni as he catches Kig slowly but surely.
I was just checking Botsi's car for the damage he has. It looks like it's only minor suspension damage, but no toe damage, which means his tires are still good. Maybe the car handles a bit funny, but he seems to be doing a good laps still. Although he has lost some time, but the gap stayed the same after the hit to the wall.
Yeah, Botsi with the right-hand side of the car looks mostly intact, so it shouldn't mean all his corners are going to be a bit of a toothache, I suppose. We'll see if he can carry on a bit longer. No, he wants to pit. I think it's gotten a bit too much for him, and he needs to get repairs done once he can get into one of the boxes.
And he has plenty of time to make repairs if he wants, because Rony is 52 seconds behind him as the next car in 4th position. But he doesn't do any repairs. Probably the car handles fine. He goes on in 1st place with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. He can carry on. Red Pot, it's feeling like an eternity for him now. He's stuck behind Lorenzo, and they're evenly matched today. But if there's any opportunity Red Bot can get to take Lorenzo's place, then he'll certainly want to do it. But it's just not happening so far. And then Michael and Joni will be faster, having pitted more recently. It's just these two drivers keeping very, very close to each other, lap by lap.
Rony up front, still one of the last cars yet to pit, with 20 seconds gap to 7th place. 7th place Pawlowski, and 8th place Fadas is 30.
Yeah, let's interrupt. I beg your pardon, Kid. It's Kig losing out to Joni Katila. There was a mistake out of the final corner for Kig, and it just meant he had no defense against Joni, but he might have a counter if he can just find an opening in this sequence. Now he's gone a little bit wide. Bad hit on the curb, but he recovers it a little bit, has to be said. This is going to be close. This is a big factor for Kig's race. If he can stay close, there's a big lay down of rubber from Joni's back tires, but they're roughly equally matched out of the left-right chicane. It looks like the defensive job for Joni is done.
Yeah, I think Kig was thinking better of it and didn't challenge Eoin, as he will just simply pull away. Also related to Rony, as he will pit very soon within the last few laps, Eoin will have chance to close the gap to him and possibly even improve his position further by 1 extra.
Yeah, well, every position counts. So, Rony, if you can hold on to top 10 finish, he will be pleased. It's going to be nip and tuck as he continues to drag that race about around Kyoto Ring. It's just going to be a real stress test for him now, heading towards the conclusion. He's managed the tires beautifully. They look spot on to me. That's just what his strategy is. We have not discovered any clues. He could pit 2 laps to go, or maybe he'll decide on the next lap to pit. We're just not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, along with him, first and second place drivers still have to pit, but their gap is very safe to do so, and I think they are saving it for the final laps as well, as Rony jumps over the curb, not holding it back. And meanwhile, Iron Donny drives his personal best by 3/4 of a second, which is a massive improvement to 2:44.37. A very nice improvement by him.
Indeed, yeah. You can practice and practice for hours on end, but then come race day and you're having a strong outing, maybe your practice finally kicks in and you can even exceed expectations and smash your PB during the race time. And we're certainly seeing that from Donny. A great lap time for his own personal escapades. And if you can keep this momentum going, he'll be absolutely thrilled.
I think top 5 will be his one of his best results in the XL races, if I remember correctly. He still has Arska 2.5 seconds ahead.
Michael makes a mistake. Lorenzo gets by. Red Bot gets by. So that was a gift in Lorenzo's lap there. He was able to take full advantage. Red Bot 2 got away, but no such luck for Michael there. So maybe the Red Bot will be disappointed in a way. He lost a bit of momentum as he came nose to nose with Michael at a bad time. But Lorenzo, again, just hanging on in there in the lead. Another point quickly is a new fastest lap from Rick Hardle. 2 minutes 42.63 seconds, kid. That's fantastic stuff.
It's amazing. I mean, the qualifying lap was the pole position was 41.8.
Yeah, but this time his qualifying lap will be nowhere within reach. That was a heavy hit on the wall with his rear left quarter. Damage, yeah, a little bit of damage, but I think he can carry on just fine.
But in his race pace, this pace is still remarkable. His tires are already worn, so which means in LFS that they are getting colder and better grip. And we might see some further improvements from him in the last 7 laps.
I wouldn't be so surprised if he did improve again. So Number has just put in the chat big damage. Not sure if he's talking about himself or someone else, but yeah, he's still running nicely in 9th behind his teammate Fatass. So that's a little bit of a whoopsie. Oh no, we're doing it again, kid. Another error on screen as we're talking about Frag Masters. There you go. He'll be all right. But Alpha will smell the blood in the water. He's coming. And this is finally the moment. Another interruption, I'm afraid. But it's a big one as Redbot gets his moment. He's beaten Lorenzo to the punch and he has a tough position to his own. Michael will want payback against Lorenzo. And this is a great opportunity to do it. He's picking the outside line to cut.
Lorenzo runs wide. Oh, he didn't learn from his mistakes from previous battles in this race, and he runs wide again. And wow, there's very close, almost contact. I'm surprised they didn't take each other out, but Lorenzo holds it surprisingly very well.
Yeah, and a nod of approval from both the drivers there, but there's plenty more battling to do. Michael took all of the AstroTurf he could on the outside line and then met Lorenzo door to door. But I think Lorenzo got a great run out of that.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
There's a Joni Katila overtaking Number on the oval right now. Number didn't give any big fight, but it's surprising how fast Joni has caught him, because he was just 8 seconds behind only a few laps before. So that's a remarkable pace from him, and the 9th position for now.
Indeed, yeah. We saw briefly Number made that mistake, and I think once Chirafa saw that, he was like, yeah, this is mine. It's just a matter of when it's mine. So there you go. He's done it within the oval section and can now break even more Fragmaster Hearts if Fat Ass can be caught within the remaining lap times. It's certainly possible.
It is. I mean, Fat Ass was also 8 seconds behind, but 1 lap ago or so, he was complaining about some problems with his computer, like CCleaner was doing something it's not supposed to do, as he wouldn't like him to do. So 4 seconds for him to catch, and 8th position in play.
Indeed, yeah. More drivers, suffering potential software issues or hardware issues. It's never far away for anybody. The drive to look out for now is indeed the Joni Katila on camera. If you can carry on this form, you definitely find 1 or 2 places left, with Rony still doing a great job in 4th place, yet to pit. A bit further ahead, Arska and Donny are within reach of one another. That's the battle for 5th and 6th. Just wait and see what happens into this chicane. It can level out a lot of battles and make them competitive. Oh, Donny made a terrible.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Yeah, that was a huge gamble, but the sausage curb gave him a bit of a swipe away, and that's ended that for now.
Last lap, Joni Katila was faster than Fat Ass by 1.6 seconds. And the gap is closing ever so much. I mean, if this continues, he will have him within 2 laps. He did a personal best of 2:43.9, as Fat Ass was only at 2:45.4, which is big difference.
It is indeed significant, and that's going to factor in before the day is done. Lorenzo's now sitting in that awkward position that Red Bot was for so long, in the dirty air, with time running out, to see if he can claim back that initiative over Red Bot. This is probably one of Lorenzo's best corners. It does suit his setup well, but Red Bot still has enough advantage. Then you've got Michael waiting in the wings in his silver car, waiting to see what happens next. Yeah, actually, now that you think about it, this is a big moment now. Red Bot's lost time. The inside line is going to be shut down for the moment. Red Bot takes grass on the tires, and that could leave him totally at sea.
Everybody goes wide. Yes. Even Michael ran wide behind them, probably trying to gain some ground on them.
Yeah, Red Bot was in that awkward position. He knew that trouble was afoot, and he covered the inside line just a little too hard. It got grass on his tires, and it cost him the grip he needed, and the inside line was then opened up with another left-hander coming. So there you go. The swap has occurred, and Red Bot has to do it all over again.
Also, interesting thing to follow behind these 3 is another battle of between Jaroslav Dohnalik and Teemu Soini, who are only half a second apart. Teemu Soini catching Jarda Dohnalik also very fast. So all things unraveling in the final laps.
Yeah, this is a good chance for Timu to show what he's capable of on the offense rather than his defensive driving. He'll see what can be done. He's on the pit lane merge line, trying to cut as much of the entry as he can. But he still needs to gain a few more tenths to really cause Yaroslav problems. About there's about 5 tenths of a second there. Here we go. Can he keep the car planted into the apexes coming up? Yeah, that looks great. This is pressure situation time for, maybe not. That was a small, just a correction for Timu, and Yaroslav can then pull away. Another fastest lap for the leader, Rick Cardle, who has Tallenberg. He's just putting a lap down there. So there you go, brilliant stuff. As we now carry on with the battle up in 15th place, a few seconds away from our leader, as a matter of fact. Donleek will hold the line on the apron.
Yeah,
Timu
I think
stays high.
Timu is using his gentleman skills to stay out of the fight for as long as possible, but hopefully he will use his skills to also gain a position.
And we will cut away for that. Now we've got a lapped driver to factor here as Arska must defend 5th position from Donny. And there you go, good merging away for Kopanen. But it does put the pressure onto Arska's shoulders. It's Donny with, he can counteract whatever Arska does, and Arska does lose time there. Couldn't get on the apex as he would have liked, and this is a compromise situation. Arska couldn't get onto the left. That's so wide indeed, kid. And there you go, position for Donny.
Yeah, Arska lost the slipstream, so he's done probably for this fight for now. Behind them, Joni Katila only 4 tenths behind Fadas in a battle for 8th position. Same turn, Fadas cuts it very, very massively and runs away for now, but I think Joni will not settle for this.
Yeah, this is all or nothing now for Joni. If he can prove his ability against Fadas, I think his moment is going to strike certainly in the next 45 seconds. It can't be much longer if Joni stays on the straight and narrow as we expect him to. Yeah, that's looking comfortable so far for Joni. He just needs to find out what his opponent Fadas will do next, and then he can go for the juggler. He's very, very competent into that chicane. He doesn't go near the sausage curves, but he gains a lot of time out of it as well. And Fadas should still have enough of a gap, nearly 6 tenths. Rick puts in another fastest lap at 2 minutes 42.49, but we remain on Fadas's view here. Big gain for Joni there, but it will drag out a little bit on the exit.
Yeah, any fight, any more time they lose in this fight will help Rony, because he still hasn't pitted. But when he pits, he will come out of the pits just ahead of these two, I think, if I counted the time right. So this will be a 3-way battle to the end.
Yeah, there's still a chance for Fadas to pull off a great defense with the remaining laps. But it's going to be a long slog for him. Yeah, but definitely will go for as long as possible, I will think. Yeah, it's a good move. Yeah, Fadas now will feel the breeze against Joni Katila. Oh, he's gonna hit him. There is contact, but it looks like a safe and fair maneuver for Joni Katila, gaining over the second Fragmaster driver of the day, and that is 8th position.
Yeah, Fadas still in the slipstream of Eoin, but keeps his distance and waits for the start-finish turn and for the exit on the start-finish straight. But he's too far behind for now, and Eoin will just pull away probably.
And let's give credit to Teemu Soini, who off camera has made the move against Donalik. He managed to get the job done somewhere, and he should now just keep his nose clean and carry on to the end.
Let's hope without any further crashes.
Faras, it's his turn to follow Yanni into the fast sweepers. Certainly a long double left there. You don't feel the second one coming for quite a while. Then we've got the bump left-right chicane. Faras hits the wall, and that will be all his momentum gone into the oval section. He's down a few miles an hour, and that is key with the flat-out section and the banking coming up. So that is unfortunate for Faras.
Meanwhile, with Ricciardo entering the penultimate lap, some drivers have more than that to go, as the gaps are very big, but the finish is very close, as Upsas drives his personal best, and it's the same time as the best lap of the race.
Goodness me, that came out of the blue, it has to be said. Well done to Upsas. Getting a really, really good lap time in before the day is done. He will be putting Maciek behind him with the blue flag assistance soon enough. So well done to Upsas. A great lap time. Very, very formidable. Even at this late stage. Go ahead.
Also, it was improvement by 65 hundredths of a second. So really, it came out of nowhere.
That's trouble for Soini. Something went wrong into the deep right-hander. Yeah, it went too deep and it gave Donalik that place back. Hopefully, he can just keep that engine running and avoid the turbo lag. But Donalik may have realized, okay, I was close to losing the position. With it back in my hands, I'm not going to take it away. Have it taken twice now.
Ron is still staying out of the pits. I think he's not fully aware what pitting earlier could mean. He could come out ahead of Eoin and have a battle with him. Now I'm not so sure if he manages to do that. Because Eoin is catching fast. It's 27 seconds.
Yeah, that's almost certainly a position in the pocket for Yanni. He continues to dial in the fast laps, and Rony will have to figure out what he can do with his pit stop still to be taken. Then we've got battlers Redbot and Michael. Redbot uses the merge line as best he can to distract his opponent, but Michael, if he keeps his revs high, he can definitely attack, with Lorenzo just coming into the view now. Michael takes as much of the Astro.
Both drivers improved their personal best, as Redbot, so did also Michael, but Michael was almost 4 tenths faster than Redbot on this lap, and we have plenty action to catch up with in the last 2 laps for these drivers, as leader pits now.
Yeah, Ricciardo takes his last available chance to pit. Redbot hits the wall. That's Michael to the outside, heading into the oval section. No problems in the pits for Rick. We'll carry on watching. Michael cuts from the middle line on the oval down to the inside. That's a great move. Elementary stuff as well. But Redbot, now that we're back to right-hand turns, you'll certainly think what he can do from here. Maybe Lorenzo could do him a favor as an ironic final twist to their saga. So far it won't happen here, but definitely a little bit of a chance to attack into the complex corners in the middle sector.
Yeah, meanwhile, Upsa's pitted as well. Just a brief info as we await Rony, who is now entering the final complex of turns to complete his mandatory pit stop, and we will see if he manages to come ahead of Joni Katila as Redbot still pushes on Michael and is not giving up so easily, of course. As Rony pulls into the pit lane indeed and brakes quite early.
Yeah, it's definitely a safety first approach for Rony after putting in a mega one-stop shift there, going all the way to the end, -1, I suppose. He won't want to get caught speeding.
Eoin already on the start-finish straight, and he will pass him easily. So still good result for Rony, who will probably come out in 8th place.
Yeah, Fadas is going to be close. Fadas should start to see the neon green on his screen, and yeah, it looks like Fadas will gain just by a few tenths over Rony. So there you go, good stuff for these two.
Almost side by side out of the pit lane, but Fadas had the speed and the line, so it was easy for him in the end.
We'll see if there's a little bit of time remaining for those two to scrap away. This is probably Rony's first great opportunity. No, that's costly. He's hit the rear left against the wall. We must now concentrate on our race leader. He's coming up to the final chicane. The lap traffic is not going to be a factor here. It's Ricardo sweeping today's race. Round 11 of RTFR XL around Kyoto Ring. He's just going to cruise along as he sees fit. And there you have it, across the line, a 1 hour 16-minute success for Ricardo and Team Sidus. In second place will be Upsas, a fantastic run there. He will be very chuffed to be today's runner-up. A brilliant drive with the qualifying to give him the platform he needed.
Beating a Botsi by more than 10 seconds, also a great achievement against a driver of his qualities.
Yeah, and they will share the fastest lap award, Carlo and Upsas, with Botsi claiming the third step on our imaginary podium, I suppose, with just one driver getting the big podium for themselves.
Now we will have to wait a while as Iron Donny is entering the final sequence of corners with a big slide, probably celebrating his 4th place, which it will be if he manages to drag it over the line. Some flamboyant driving as Arska is coming behind him, but is too far back to have any impact on his result.
Yeah, it's just a case of what might have been. I know it's over an hour and you can't expect a smooth running if you're in the midfield, but just with those few extra seconds, what difference it could have made. And we're just waiting for more drivers to complete their race. Close, but no cigar there for Yanni. He was gaining on Pawlowski, but he just needed another lap to have 6th place there. Fadas cross line 8th, Rony 9th. Yeah.
You can just you can just think what Yanni could have achieved if he didn't have his moments, like 3 of them. He would have been close to the podium, even close to the podium, I think, as he lost like 30 seconds during his adventures. As more drivers crossed the line, it's Rony number Kig, Lorenzo in 12th, Michael, and ahead of Redbot.
Yeah, a few close drivers crossing the line. Donnelly, Soini, and Yarik Tilla separated by 3 seconds between them. The last pairing of cars coming to finish the day, and we'll have a full classification.
Indeed, and we lost 10 drivers during this race, but the attendance was pretty good with 32 drivers starting and I think 21 finishing. 22
22.
finishing.
Yeah. Oh, Tallenberg and Magic have a bit of a fun collision after the race was finished. There you go. The aftermath just on the cameras there. But yeah, there's the victorious Ricciardo taking that platform podium to himself, and a very, very impressive job.
Yeah, congratulations to everybody who managed to finish this race, even though we have few cars a lap or more behind, but kudos to them too for holding on and going all the distance.
Absolutely. So let's recap exactly what has happened on today's RTFR XL event. The victory, as I said, went to Ricciardo there. A very, very strong drive. Upsas pulled out a great lap time near the end, but wasn't enough to close the gap on Rick. Botsy was settled for third place. Good drive there. Iron Donny, fantastic job there in fourth position, closely followed by Arska, completing the top five. Then we have Pavliski, True Alpha, Fadas, Rony, and Number in the top 10. Still on the lead lap, we've a fair few drivers, as you can see. 11th down with Kig, Lorenzo, Michael, Redbot, Yaroslav Donnelly, Timu Soini, Yarik Tilla, Tallenberg, Magic there. And then Migfa in 20th was the first car a lap down. And we move on to our second screen. We've got Pedro in 21st and Kauppinen 22nd and last of the finishers. But unfortunately, we had a fair few amount of drivers losing connection or having a crash during the race, and they were not classified. We've got Gabor, Unite, and a fair few other drivers as well with the DNFs there. Litty was a big name we lost at the very start due to a lap one incident. So hard luck to all those drivers.
Indeed, we lost 3 Sidus cars, which is not a usual sight. It's like losing both Mercedes cars in F1 race. We have a few drivers coming up for the interviews, so stay tuned for that. As the championship standings will probably get easier, a championship fight will get easier for Botsi, who finished third, as United did not finish, as you still can see on the screen with his timeout, unfortunately. So coming into the last race, Botsi is the champion and championship favorite. And Unite probably holding the second place, as Yone is coming for the third place from behind, but his gap to Unite was too big to catch, I think.
Yeah, that was a little bit too much for him to do after all those incidents that distracted him, and indeed his own pit lane speeding penalty. So again, it was a case of what might have been for Yanni. Still probably a bit too far back to win the championship, but you never know what could happen next with the final race coming up. So joining us in the broadcast is our race winner, Rick Cardle. How are you? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you very much. First time on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, it's unusual, but welcome aboard. So how was the race move for you today? What do you think of it?
It was more easy than I expected. I did practice a bit for race setup, but only managed 4 laps and went very awful. And last moment change before the race worked out for me. So
So it was a case of the other drivers. I think they were battling away for too long, and I think it gave you the initiative to pull away. You had a good strategy. So were there any cases where you thought the car was going to let you down, or Was there something in the way that could have held you up to the victory?
Well, I managed tires fine, but on lap 20, I think I smashed the wall quite hard. So from then on, I kept it clean and easy.
Looking at the start of the race, you had Upsas pass your teammate for the second place. Have you been worried at some point that he might be a problem to you?
Well, I did expect Bossy to be more a problem, so for me it was perfect. He overtook him, and then I managed the gap, and it was no problem.
Yeah, dominant win from you. Congratulations again.
Very well done, Rick.
Thank you.
And now joining us is 11th placed Kig. How are you, Kig?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, yeah, I'm not that happy, you know. I don't know if you saw it. Pretty sure you did. I started the race without knowing it with the body set. I realized after some laps I had very hot tires. At first I thought it was me pushing too much in the first lap, you know. But then checking others' tires, Arska's tires and Foxy, I was feeling weird. I thought, okay, something not good here. So I checked which setup I was using, and yeah, it was the set I used for qualifying.
Yeah, that's a shame because your qualifying and your initial race pace was really good, but 11th place in the end is also a good result. But where do you think you would finish if you didn't have these problems?
If I had a normal setup, I think I could finish P5 or P4 where I started. Not considering the pace I had with this setup in the end. I mean, I'm not completely sure because I could do mistakes, but if I was more consistent and everything, I think I could keep my starting position.
Yeah, you did have a very strong best lap of the race. Were there any drivers that you were enjoying a battle with? We saw plenty of interesting squabbles up and down the grid. Any highlights for you?
I don't know. I think I was battling in the first laps with Arska, but then I lost to him because of the tires. And the first lap, I was battling with Upsets, I think, or Botsy. And yeah, I was pushing a lot there. I was really nervous because, you know, big names can't do mistakes. So then I also had a battle with Eoin, but he was much faster than me. So I think my best battle was in the first lap, but I don't really remember. I need to replay.
Indeed. Well, congrats anyway to your placement and good luck in future races, and hopefully you will finally manage the position you are aiming for.
Yeah, hopefully I don't use the bad set next time.
Yeah, it happens to every one of us sometimes.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this race, we still have one thing left on the list, and we will show you again the trailer for the upcoming update of LFS, which we showed you also in the beginning. So if you haven't seen it in the beginning, you can watch it in a short while. Meanwhile, it has been me, Zdeněk, Cagaš, and Eoin, Harmon, guiding you through this race. And it's been a pleasure, and we are looking forward to seeing you soon again.
So long, everybody. Have a good evening.